Hello everyone, this is Michael with ePapery. Today we are using a junk mail envelope, which is open at the top, to make a flip-out double pocket for our journal. So I have folded the envelope not quite in half. I have left about maybe a half an inch or so on the one end there. And the envelope has a window in it, so I am going to make a journaling card that will be in that window. So I have determined that picture will now fit in the window. So now I'm going to collage pieces around the window. The first thing that I will do is I will ink around those portions of the window, just in case there might be some white areas there as I go ahead and collage. And so I am using book page for this. There I'm coloring with ink again around the window. And I'm going to place my pieces around the window. I am doing a voiceover today because I actually did this project in front of the television, so you could hear all the television stuff in the background, and of course I didn't want that. So I am gluing the one piece that's going to go on the bottom of my window, and then I will adjust it. I used art glitter glue, so you have to be kind of quick here. And I am putting that down on the bottom. Now I'm going to place the top piece, and so I'll glue that down and put that on the top. And adjusting it to make sure it's straight and fits. There we go. Now I am looking for a piece of paper to do the sides of the window. I found this piece of paper that has some numbers along the side, so I decided I was going to use that portion. So I am cutting a portion of that off so that I can make the strip that goes along the side of the window. There we go. I'm testing it to make sure it's going to be able to fit where I want it to. I'm inking around it. And now I'm going to glue it into place. There we go. And again, adjusting it to make sure that it's straight and completely glued down. And then I will trim off the excess. Okay, now I'm refolding the envelope to make sure that that paper is in the right place to be folded correctly. And now I am looking for another piece of paper. I wanted something with some color in it that might match the front cover, which I'm going to have some red on. So I found this piece that has a red stamp on it and some red writing. And so I'm testing it to see if that's going to fit the way I'd like it to. Now here comes the lazy part. Instead of measuring, I just glue my paper on where I want it, and then I trim around it. I know that's the lazy way to do it, but I hate measuring, so this is how I did it. All right, now I'm going to trim off the excess on the ends. save those little scrap pieces for other collage projects. And there's my collage around my window. I am going to ink around. There we go. Now, because I want that window on the inside of my pocket, I am refolding it to show that the window's on the inside. And then I figure, whoops, now I got that upside down. So I changed it around. There we go. So now I'm going to add some paper to the inside piece, and that's going to be a journaling spot. So I picked out some coffee dyed paper with some lace on it, lace pictures on it. And again, I did this the lazy way, so I'm just going to cut it down once I've got it glued into place so that I don't need to measure. Be careful while you're cutting this so that you don't open up that end of the envelope, because that is part of your pocket. All right. There we go. That's how it will open up. Now I'm going to ink around that journaling spot. I have used 2 different colors of ink. I kind of mixed them here on my dauber. I used Firebrick Red and I believe Vintage Photo. Now I have found a piece of paper that I would like to put on the front that has some of the same coloring that the other papers have and that my ink has. So now I am going to place that on the front. And again, I am not measuring, I am just gluing it on. And then I will make sure it's straight how I want it. And then I will cut off the excess. I'm spreading out the glue to make sure that it's going to stick well. Looking good. And now I am going to trim off the excess. There's a little bit of excess on the top there that I need to trim down. All right. And then we have a little excess there. Again, make sure that you don't cut through that fold or you'll cut your project in half. There we go. So now I have the front piece on. I'm going to ink around that front piece again. There we go. And you'll see how that works. Now I'm taking a scrap piece of paper and I'm going to fold it in half because I want to make a tab that's going to go on the side of that front so that I can use it as a closure. Now, in using this tab, you have to make sure that there's a little space on the top of that punch so that you don't get 2 pieces, but you have 1 piece instead. Now I'm inking up that tab. I'm just going to kind of place it where I think it needs to be, and then just fitting it to see how it's going to fit. As you can see, I'm going to stick that front cover underneath that tab to hold it down. I did add a piece of paper to the inside of that tab to make it a little sturdier. And now I am going to take and glue that tab in place. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm only putting glue on the very bottom edge of the tab so that I can make sure I can get that front cover slipped underneath it. So there is the tab, and there is the piece that will flip under it, and that keeps it closed. Nice. There. So the main piece is done. Now I'm going to work on the tags and the journaling card. So I'm marking where this picture is, and I'm going to glue it on a piece of cardstock, craft cardstock, and I'm just gluing it on, trying to get it straight. And again, I'm using my art glitter glue, so you have to be kind of quick, otherwise it will dry fast on you. I use this picture because both the bird and the bowl have orange in them, which is going to look really nice with the colors of ink that I have on the project. And this project can be used in a fall journal. Now I wanted a little bit of a touch of blue color on it because there's kind of a grayish blue in the bird. And I had that white piece at the top that I didn't really want to leave white. So I took a piece of book page that I had done some jelly printing on, and I'm going to glue that to the top of that picture. Now, I really didn't do this correctly. I wasn't thinking too well. So I glued it that way. I should have glued it differently than that. Turned it around so that I wouldn't be having a problem trying to cut it off, but I didn't, so I needed to deal with it the way I had it. I was hoping that I could just use my fingernail to fold it well enough that it would just rip off, but it didn't want to rip very well, and I didn't want to chance it. So I took my scissors and awkwardly cut that blue piece off. I could have done a lot better job had I done it the other way, but I didn't. So, and now I am proceeding to cut off the excess cardstock from around my card. I'm kind of straightening up the edges here. There we go. And now the other remaining piece of cardstock. I know I'm not making this look easy, but it really is a very simple project to do. You just might have to think a little bit ahead, which I didn't do. Okay, so now I'm going to place that in my pocket, window pocket, to make sure it fits properly, and it does. Very pretty. And it closes up the way it should. Now, I did not cover the back because it's going to be glued down onto my signature page. So now I have decided that I want a tab on the top of my journal card. So I am again folding a piece of this craft cardstock down in half and burnishing it. And I am putting it in my tab punch again and punching out a one-piece tab. I am inking it. Now I'm going to round the corners of the journaling card. I probably should have waited to make sure it dried a little better, but of course I did not. I'm too impatient. So So there we go. Great. Now I'm going to ink around that journaling card. And I'm going to place my tab, eyeballing it, making sure I put it somewhat in the middle. Putting glue on both sides of my tab. And this tab is made from the cardstock, so it's fairly sturdy. And now I'm going to place that, as I said, approximately in the middle of the journal card. All right, now I'm working on the other tag for the other pocket. I found this paper that has a lot of the same colors in it, so I decided I was going to make a tag out of that. I could have made this tag a little bit bigger, but I didn't, so there we go. I cut out the strip. Now I'm going to take my tag punch and cut out the little notches to make it a tag. I realize that this is going to be too big for that pocket, so I'm going to go in and cut that tag down a little bit. And again, I'm saving these scraps for another collage project some other day. And now I'm going to ink around that card. And again, I'm testing to make sure that these tags are going in there properly. And then this is how I plan on having it. So I will glue it on the 3 sides so that I could have another pocket in the back if I wanted to. But that's how it will be on my signature page. Now I am taking some cheesecloth that I had dyed just with some distress ink. And I am picking out a piece. I want to put a piece on the top of my one tag there. And so I'm kind of just folding it over and trying to make a little piece. I didn't like that it was so yellow, so I decided to just take my dauber and put a little bit of the red on there. Now I'm kind of scrunching it up a little bit. And I will cut that piece off. There we go. And it's going to go in the top. I'm going to use my tiny attacher to staple this onto the top rather than glue it. So I'm deciding it how I want it, either stapled from on the back or on the front, how I want it to look. I decided, I guess, that I was going to have it on the top of it. So I'm placing my tiny attacher there, and I am stapling that cheesecloth to the top of my tag. There we go. Now that paper is a cardstock too, so I didn't need to back that with anything. And it is only one-sided paper, so I didn't need to back it. Now I am taking some of that same cheesecloth and checking to see if I would like it on the front of my piece of ephemera. I decided I would kind of like it. It would add a little bit of texture. I may not see a whole lot of it once I get my focal point on, but it will give it some texture. I am using my Fabri-Tac glue to add this to the front. And getting glue all over my fingers. So much fun peeling that glue off. My daughter's never really happy with me because she does my nails so nicely, and then I go ahead and use glue and ruin them. Now I have chosen my focal point, and I have a little leaf and a poppy flower that I am gluing on as my focal point, trying to determine which way it should go. I don't know if I got it the right way or not, but so I put that on. I had also inked around these pieces before I did that. Found a label with a number on it that I liked, and so I'm going to put that on the front. I decided I wasn't going to put anything else on it. I could have added another label up at the top left there, but I just decided to leave it the way it was. Again, you can see how this is going to work. There's my window card and my tag. And then the front cover will be placed under that tab to keep it together. And there's my project. Looking very nice. Thanks for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.